Hello everyone, this is Sam and this is Car Legion. Welcome back to another video. Finally, I've got my hand on the most exciting vehicle for 2020, the new Land Rover Defender. And it's made possible thanks to our good friends at Budds Imported Cars, a Jaguar Land Rover dealership located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. If you don't know more about them, the link will be in the description box and you can reach out and find out about the new Defender if you want to take it for a test drive. It's exciting for me because I've been waiting to see this thing in person, and time has come. Now, here's the interesting part about this video. This is my first review of the Defender, but I will be doing a full comparison against another vehicle that probably you haven't guessed and you won't be able to know till it comes out. It's not going to be a Toyota 4Runner and it's not going to be the Jeep Wrangler, something much more interesting. I'm going to put it against the new Defender. The first thing we're going to find out today is what does it offer. We have the SE package, it's the first edition with the SE trim. And we're going to talk about exactly the features that you get, the extra accessories and so on. And we're going to take it for a test drive and see how it does on the road. I'm super excited because I've been waiting to see this vehicle for a while and test drive it. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram or Facebook if you want to know more about the upcoming videos. Now, let's get back to this bad boy here and let's talk about what does it offer. Okay, so first let's talk about the price. This trim, the SC in Canada, starts at $76,000. If you're going to add more features and so on, fully loaded, this one you're looking at about, this exact model that we have, it starts at about $87,000. It has quite a lot of extra features and a different engine under the hood, a bigger engine. It gives you two options you can pick from. We'll talk about the engine in a minute. Now, the exterior, what do we have? The new Defender is fully redesigned. You have a different exterior, more tech features, a very rugged exterior style. As you can see, like for example, the fenders itself, and then we have 20-inch tires on this. It has all this rugged area onto the front, this metal part onto the hood as well to give you an experience that this vehicle, it's also for off-road, but at the same time, it looks like a very day-to-day car as well. Very useful for day-to-day with extra features that you can use on day-to-day basis. You have keyless entry, you have LED, beautiful LED headlights. Let me show you the headlights on this thing here. As you can see, this is technically the headlight on this part, and you have the turning signals inside when you turn it on. The front part in here looks like it's metal, but it's actually not metal, it's plastic. It's the same thing on this side as well. Beautiful style, very much like a 2020 design of other models. You also get a washer for the headlights. If you come close here, you'll see this is the washer for one side, and then we have it for the other side as well. In this model, we don't have the winch located onto this side. You can purchase that separately, but this specific trim does not come. It's an added accessory. At the same time, let me show you around here. As you can see, massive mirrors on this side. We have the turning signal onto the side, and then there is the actual camera. This thing has one of the most beautiful 360 cameras I've seen. Very cool. It gives you a full 3D. I'll show you once we get inside. What else do we have on the exterior? As you can see, this part here, this area, it's quite impressive too, to give you a lot of off-road style of this vehicle. Now here's one interesting thing about this car. In most off-road machines, you don't get as much as a clearance as this one here. The interesting part is that the 0 point is right here for a standard height. For a standard ride, you're looking at the 0 point right in here. This can go 40 millimeters below the standard ride, in case if you're going to a deep area and so on. And you're looking at about 120 millimeters above the standard height as well, if you want to increase the height. Now, this vehicle is also equipped with electronic air suspension system, which you can adjust the actual height of the vehicle. You can do so inside and in the back. I'll show you once we get behind the second row seats exactly how you can adjust the height of this vehicle. Land Rover has made this vehicle not just for off-road, but also for day-to-day, so you have a nice and comfortable ride. Pretty amazing. You rarely find off-road vehicles with air suspension system nowadays. Quite impressive. We'll talk about the ride quality once we take it for a test drive. Now, here's the other thing we're going to talk about. The actual exterior design. The beautiful thing about this vehicle, in my opinion, is that it's a combination of a boxy style, yet with curves and some extra interesting designs, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll go into the back now, and I'm going to show you one cool thing. Now, from this angle, you can't see anything in here, right? You can't see the tail lights, you can't see anything. Because what they have done, again, remaining with that classic inspiring design, without going away from that kind of style, this part over here is technically the tail light, and we have the turning signals on this side. You have more lights. But as you can see, it's completely flat all the way through. Absolutely love this design. If you see, this is the actual light, the full LED, of course, and then you have one in the center. This part is completely flat, but then it goes right in. Now, this is the key fob of the vehicle. It's very similar to other models, like the Range Rover and so on. Exactly the same, actually. It's kind of funny because even the key fob, it's boxed, same as the car. Now, if I unlock it, and let me show you right now, as you can see, the light, this is the daylight running lights, the same thing. This part here is only turned on. The inside part, it's not on at all. And then you have more onto this for the reverse and so on. Pretty cool design. I absolutely love this kind of shape. Now, let me show you a cool feature that you find in the key fob. Let's go in the front. The key fob has an extra feature. If you're going off-road, you're going camping or so on, in order to find the vehicle, there is a great button in here. It's actually for the headlights. If you turn it on, the headlights turn on. So that way you can locate the vehicle. Not just that annoying noise, which you do get, the button in the bottom here is for the to locate the vehicle, but this is mostly for nighttime. And if you want it, you can use the light if you're parked somewhere and if you're camping and so on. And you can turn it off by pressing the same button. Very handy feature. At the same time, this vehicle does have power. This model specifically has powered mirrors, and the turning signal is located onto this side. Quite impressive for a vehicle that is supposed to be technically off-road. Now, let's go into the back and let me show you some other features as well. A Defender without a reserve tire in the back, it's not a Defender. We know this by now. Off-road vehicles tend to have it right here. It just gives more space underneath if you needed to go off-road. The interesting part about this vehicle is, unlike other competitors, which in my opinion, there's not many out there, one of them would be probably the Toyota 4Runner or the Jeep Wrangler. This thing can tow up to 7,700 pounds, which will be about 3,500 kg, which is more than the Jeep Wrangler. It is more than the Toyota 4Runner. And it is more than the Mercedes G-Class, which is technically supposed to be an off-road vehicle, but we'll talk about that later. And the beautiful thing is that the way you open the door in here, it's on the side. It's not up and down, it's left to right. As you can see, full, we have a suspension in here to give you a bit more power to open the door. Now, let's get into this side here, and I'm going to show you some other cool features. When I mentioned previously that this vehicle has air suspension system, that has given us another option in the back. There are two buttons on this side, and what you can do is raise the vehicle or lower the vehicle if you needed to jump in or grab something out of it. And that's, of course, made possible thanks to that air suspension system. The interesting part is that the 110 model, which is 4 doors or 5 doors, this offers you up to 7 seats. Yes, you can get a third row seat in here if you wanted more seats, if you have a bigger family and so on. The 90 model, which is the 2 doors, the coupe, actually offers only up to 5. So you can get 5 seats in total. This can do 2 in here, 3 in there, and 2 in front. Or you can do 6, 3 in here and 3 in front. We'll talk more about them once we get inside. Now, with this package, of course, you get the towing accessory equipped, and of course, we have the camera, which is actually for the 360, and it's right here. Also, the camera in the back, in case if it gets dirty, it has a washer located right beside it to clear this area. Pretty cool. Jeeps have it the same thing. Jeep Wrangler, even the pickup one, has a similar design. If you ever take this thing for a road, it gets dirty, just sprinkle it and it will clean it right out. At the top over here, we have another camera. This one is actually the camera that is connected to the actual rear view mirror. So in the front, you can turn the rear view mirror into an actual display to show the camera at the top, which is pretty clear, and I'll show you that once we get inside. But it's actually the second camera. This is not technically the backup camera. The backup camera is located at the bottom. Now we're going to talk about the engine. What does it offer with the SE package? But before we do that, I want to show you a cool thing about this. If you come closer, the door has this part here that actually blocks the actual lever to open the hood. Very interesting. So that way you don't accidentally open this thing. I've seen this in Audis as well. It's very similar. Now let's pop the hood and let me show you what do we have under the hood. And of course, the hood itself is equipped with the dampers on each side for easy access. Now, the interesting part about the engine, which I'm very excited about, is that this has the biggest engine you can purchase, which is a 3-liter 6-cylinder that makes 395 horsepower. It's technically more than the Jeep Wrangler and more than the Toyota 4Runner. At the same time, you can pick a smaller engine, a 2-liter, which makes about 296 horsepower. With this package, we have the biggest engine you can purchase. I'm very excited to see how this thing does on the road and once we take it for a test drive. Now, let's lock this and let's get inside, but let's first start with the second row and let me show you what it offers. Now, the model that we have for today's video actually has a full panoramic roof. You can pick a standard one, full metal basically covers. You can also pick an accessory, a tent that goes on top. And that, of course, it's only equipped with the full metal. We don't want the glass. You don't want to sit on top of the glass. The other interesting part about this is that the design on this side. Look at this whole flat all the way to this part. Completely square from one side to the other. You can add extra storage unit accessories, of course, onto this and the other side if you need it. That's purchased, of course, separately as an accessory. Now, let's open the door with your key in. This doesn't have it with the slide in. You have to press this button in order to open it, but all 4 doors have that option with this trim. Let's get inside. Let me show you one cool feature which other Range Rovers have it. This icon over here, if you look at it carefully, this shows you and it will flash every time it notices that there is an object or a vehicle before you even open the door, so that way you don't risk having a car crash onto the door. The rugged exterior design has moved onto the interior. Look at this side over here. The whole panel for the door continues in the front as well. You have the screws over here which are, of course, visible easily to see. Now let's get inside and let me show you what it offers inside. If you need some support in order to get in, because the vehicle is a bit high off the ground, you have the handle onto the side, of course, very standard in off-road vehicles. What I love about this car is the second row seats, the footrest. Now, in most cars, what you do have is basically flat. In here, if you come closer, the footrest is raised in the front so that you can have a nice and comfortable feet. And you don't have to have them in this position, which are pretty uncomfortable. In this position, they feel so much more relaxed, in my opinion. And look at it. So much space. My head, so much space. You have about a full hand from my head to the actual roof. I'm 6'2". I'm taller than the average individual, which this is a perfect example for some people that are tall. Now, what do you get in the back? First of all, you have a full charging capability in here, which is hidden. So if you have kids in the back, they can't play around with this thing. You also have the USB port, which is hidden as well, and it has a spring which pulls it in and out. So once you're done, it will close itself. Same thing. And this thing is, of course, for both sides. Let me show you into the center. We have more charging stations in here. We have 1, 2, and you have the cigarette lighter part over here, which you can plug in anything else. You also have the climate control in the back. From here, you can control it. Also, this part here is flat all the way through. And this comes with this plastic interior, of course, to make sure that even if you're coming in with dirty shoes and so on, it's easy to clean. You can just basically put some water a little bit and wipe it out, and you're completely done. Very useful for cars that are supposed to be taken for off-road. In wintertime, this thing will be awesome because it will be so much easier to clean. You don't have to buy extra mats or anything. It comes with it. Perfect. Now, in some vehicles, you can purchase that separately, but this thing comes all the way through from the front to the back. The model that we have for today's video actually has only 5 seats, but as I said previously, you can go up to 7. So you can add 2 more, or you can add 6. You can add 1 in the center here. You can get 3 people in the front and 3 people in the back. Very interesting. That means you still get more space. Now, this thing doesn't just turn into an off-road vehicle. This becomes a third row seat, a 3-row SUV. I mean, forget about a Toyota Highlander, forget about a freaking Kia Telluride and so on. This is the vehicle that you want if you want more space and so on. Of course, it won't offer you as much room in the back, but if you just need 6 seats, this is beyond perfect in my opinion. This is why I'm so excited about this vehicle, because I've been waiting to see one in person. Now, let's get back to reality here. First of all, let me show you an extra feature. You see this part over here? Onto the top, it's on both sides. This is an actual window to give you more light. Now, if you're going for a safari ride, this thing will be pretty cool, because if you can't see the animal on this side, and if it's like giraffe, for example, now you'll be able to see the actual head from there. Just saying, not that you're necessarily going to take this for a safari, but the design is that way, which I absolutely love about this vehicle. And I'm talking so much about it that I think I want to buy one because it's so cool. I'm just waiting to see how it handles on the roads. And of course, once we do the comparison, which I mentioned previously, you need to watch this comparison. It's coming up soon. This is going to be against the top trim Defender. Now, let's get in the front and let me show you where the fun starts. Now, let me show you around here before we get inside. First of all, what do we have? 3 memory setting seats. I'm going to show you right on the door panel. And of course, you have access to the rear windows, and you have the child lock side as well. You have the lock buttons located into this. The audio system is Meridian, very good quality. You have a speaker in here, you have one in here and one in there. The door panel, of course, again, the rugged interior design that was in the exterior side that's gone all the way inside. At the same time, you have the handle located onto this side if you want to get in, if this is too high from you, or if the vehicle is in a position that you can get in, and then beautifully slide right in. So much space with this. So let me show you exactly for someone my height. The position, perfect. The distance between my head and the roof, so much space. This is of course adjustable, which is power, beautiful. The package that you pick this, the package that we have for today's video actually offers you that. This doesn't have a heads-up display, but you can of course purchase with a separate package. This package doesn't. The handbrake is powered, as you can see, it's right in here. It doesn't have a manual option. You also get a small space in here. If you want it, you could probably slide in your phone this way. Here you go. You have space in there. They've made sure that you get enough space in this vehicle for stuff that you carry around. Now, what about this area here? What kind of design do we have? Well, it is pretty much like a sporty style, off-road, and a bit of a luxury. Why do I say luxury? Full digital cluster. If you've ever been inside a Range Rover, it's the same digital cluster, massive screen in the center. And then on this side, we have another massive screen. Okay, so this is the gear knob. It's very similar to the ones used in Range Rover. Of course, similar design, just the shape is a bit different on this side. But other than that, the entire face is very similar. Now, put into drive, you press the button located into the back here. You put into drive. And now to put into sports and use it in manual mode, it doesn't have paddle shifters, but you have manual mode in here if you ever wanted to use it in sport and have some fun. If you don't care about that, you just want to park, you don't have to worry about this. You just press that, and it goes straight into park itself. Pretty handy. It is, of course, automatic. Now, into this area, what do we have? First of all, this is for the air suspension system. You can raise this vehicle or you can lower from here. If you've ever been in a Range Rover Sport, it's similar design to that. This is for your climate control. You can change anything from here. It can change the temperature and so on. If you press it down, now you have the seat. You can change if you want it hot or if you want ventilated seats as well. Really, really interesting. So in order to remove all the buttons around this area to give more space to the rest of them, what they've done is basically use this. And you have the same thing for the passenger. You press down, and now you go into the right side, you go into the left side, and then it's for your ventilated option. Pretty cool, right? Now, into the side here, we have all the driving modes. You can see, and then once you press this button, and then you go from, you have comfort program, grass, gravel, snow, and then you have the mud, ruts program, and then you have sand, you have rock roll, and then you have wade, and of course that you can configure yourself. So if you press it and configure, press the button in there, now you can change all the settings based on what you want. It also shows into the actual cluster. I'll show you that in a minute, but let's move on into this area. Now, to change the driving modes back again, you press that button, and then you can use this center button over here specifically for that option. Now let's put it into comfort mode because we're not going anywhere off-road with this vehicle. You have even eco mode, and then you have the standard one. Now this part over here is for the front windshield heated option. So besides the fact that you can blow air into it, of course, now this has the heated lines that are located in the front windshield, which will give you faster access to it if it's a foggy day or if it's cold and so on. Pretty cool, which technically makes this thing pretty interesting for wintertime too, very easy. Now let's move on to the full entertainment system, and let me show you what it offers here. Let's first start with the cons. You can create your own profile. Pretty cool. You can add for each one. For the seats, it offers 14-way adjustable seats for the front. Really, really great. Then for the seats, beside the fact that you have the option in here, you also have the option through the actual infotainment system. You control it through the rear side. In the rear side, you have that part as well. You can change all the settings, the temperature, you can turn it on. Now you have the seats in the rear side. The rear ones are heated for both sides. And then you have in the front the same thing. Let me turn off the rear one. You can control everything from here, and then the front one for each seat. So you can turn on and turn off each side. Pretty amazingly, you have access to everything from here. Let's move on to the climate. This is your climate unit. You can change for the second row and the third row. This vehicle is equipped onto the third row with an extra climate unit. You can control it back for the actual air vents. Now let's turn this off, and then we go to the back here. Now we have the towing trailer as well. You can add the features, what you're actually towing. So you have a general, car, goods, and so on. Don't forget, this thing can tow up to 7,700 pounds. Quite impressive for a vehicle for off-road technically. Now into the camera, my favorite part. As you can see, this is a full 3D option. Really, really, really cool. It actually shows you the vehicle around it. You can also pick, you have little cameras in here, you can change the settings. So you have the left, right, center, you have the option for the rear side, you have the center, and so on. If you wanted a different view, left fully, and same thing, you can change that. The other thing is, if you want to turn it off, what you do, you have the arrows over here, and then you move on and all that. You can see the car in full 3D mode. This will be amazing if you ever take this car camping. Now you have the off-road option as well, which gives you the left and right and the front. What you can do now is the actual clear view option. As you can see, you have the tires in there and gives you the bottom part of the vehicle as well. You can turn that off and go back into that. And then you also have the towing option. So you have the vehicle from the bird's eye view at the top. You also have the rear side for towing. So if you're towing something, you can see pretty much on this rear part. Now, go back into that. We have the valet mode as well. You can put a code in there. You have the eco data. You can show how much you're burning in terms of the actual power, and of course you have all the options in here to show you what's actually taking the energy out of the car and it's burning the gasoline. Now let's move on into the 4x4i. I understand that part. In here you have pretty much all the information that you need. If you change the settings, now in here it shows you exactly in what mode you are. Then we have the weight sensing. It will explain to you the water level on the outside and the maximum that the vehicle can go. Now this is next technology, like unbelievably great. It's able to measure the depth of the water when the car goes in. That is insane. This is what I love about this vehicle. The car learns the terrain itself. This is an amazing technology about this vehicle. It learns the terrain when you're driving, and it will pick the right actual program and the drive mode as well. Very interesting. You also get an app that you can connect to the infotainment system. You can also change the direction for the map. So on your phone, you can go and add a specific location through your phone where you want to go. You can change a lot of settings about the vehicle through the app, which is again another amazing technology. Now the weight sensing, as I said, is the previous one. Then you also have the option for people living in the States. If you don't understand meters, you can go into feet. They've given you the option for both. Of course, this is also used for the UK. And then you have the low traction launch. This is mostly to be used in certain areas where the vehicle is stuck, so that it gives you enough power to make sure the vehicle comes out without sliding all the time. Because in certain areas, you don't need a lot of power to get the vehicle out of the position that is in. The vehicle dimension. Now, this is the next technology as well. It shows you exactly what the dimension of the vehicle is, and of course, if you look carefully, it shows you exactly how much higher this vehicle can go and how much lower onto this area. If you look at it, it gives you in degrees in the side and so on. Now the measurements are pretty cool in here. You can also change that into feet if you want to do that. It is 9 feet, almost 9 feet long, 6.8 feet high, 6'10" wide as well. In total, it's 16.5 feet long. So pretty cool. And then you go into on-road and then off-road. Like, the options in this vehicle are insane, in my opinion. Now, let's move on to more. This goes up and down, it's not left and right. Then you have voice control, very standard. We have the navigation system. You can check everything from here. You can do it even in 3D mode, in 2D mode, and so on. Now, let's move on to the next one, and this is your media for your music and so on. Now, let's check the settings for the vehicle itself. You go into this side. This is for your screen, your home screen. You can change the layout, your audio, and you have everything in here. The audio system, you can change where you want it to be. If you want the audio to be in a certain area, if you have kids, this is amazing, because if you have kids in the back, you can just do it right in the front or in the back only if you wanted to, or just do all in here. You have all the rest of the vehicle profile. You have the safety and security. We have lost alarm trigger to show you exactly when the lost alarm actually was turned on. We have the exterior lights. You can change the settings in here as well. And then we have the convenience package. You have the windows, vehicle access, and so on. You can change if you want them to dip the mirrors in reverse. So basically they tilt when you put into reverse. Then you have the vehicle access, automatic access height. This is to change the actual height of the vehicle. Then we have the wipers. You have the brake hold and so on. It has the auto hold option, of course. Now let's move back into, then we have the cabin light as well. Now this is quite interesting. You can change the lights of the interior. Let me show you on the side here. Here you go. Isn't that impressive? Interior lighting in a vehicle that is supposed to be for off-road, and you can change the brightness. You can increase or decrease. Like, that is quite impressive. Now, in the quick section here, we just have the brightness. And then you have for each profile. So once you create the profile, based on that profile, the vehicle will change every setting. Now let's go back into the settings. We go into all again, go back into here, and then we have the general. You have a voice setting, display, and so on. The screen is very responsive in here. As you can see, like, I'm moving pretty fast. The software update as well is done automatically. This is the other interesting about this vehicle. The software itself, once it's connected to Wi-Fi or it has a built-in 4G data like it has over here, it also is equipped with a SIM card that you can install. That way it's connected to the internet constantly to give you traffic and so on. A lot of settings. Now, the screen itself, let's talk about the design in here. Let's talk about the design in here. From this part all the way to that side, it's completely empty. Now, if I can put my hand behind the screen, like, this is the other interesting thing. They have attached it to the dash at the top and at the bottom this area, and then now you have more space in here. You also have, in this part, you have a USB port, extra USB port. I have one down here. We have one down here. We have a lightning port as well, and then another cigarette light. And then we have more space in here. Way more space in here. You can use your lunchbox or anything, and then of course the cup holders. Now my favorite part, and my wife's favorite part for summertime, is this in here. This is my favorite thing in every car, and I think every big car should have it. Let's open it up, and this thing turns into a fridge. You have the buttons in there. Look at that. You can keep your cold water. If you're in a camp, you can keep your beer in here. Not while driving. I want to emphasize that. And then you can turn it on if you want it too cold. It has two levels that you can change. It also have a light inside. This thing is absolutely insane. If you have a smartphone and you don't have any more space here to charge your phone, although you have a bunch of spots in there you can charge it, it does offer wireless charging pad with this package. Just drop in your phone there, and now it's charging. And also, it's pretty stable, and it's pretty wide, which means any phone that is big enough can fit in here. Any Note 10 and so on can easily fit in this because there's so much space in this part. And then you close that. This is the armrest. Now let's move on into the cluster. Let me show you what it offers. First of all, based on the driving mode, it's going to change everything in there. It will change all the settings. As you can see, all the settings depends on the driving mode you have it. We're going to put it back to, of course, normal. And here you go into comfort mode. If you press this button into the center, now it changes the shape and it's showing you the arrows left and right, up and down as well. And then you can change the settings for the actual cluster from here. You have all the phone numbers, you have the audio, media, you have the trip information, the layout itself. You can change the infotainment, of course, the display itself, the layout, off-road information, and of course the language and so on. If you go right again, you have the language options. You can change everything in there. Now let's go up, and then you have the vehicle showing you warning, and you have the tire information, the tire pressure, and so on. Like, this is pretty cool, very standard on other models. The cluster, as I mentioned, is fully digital, quite impressive. Love the style of this vehicle from the outside and inside. I've covered everything you need to know about this vehicle, every single detail I probably haven't missed. I love this car. My time has come now to drive this. I want to test it out on the road and see how it handles for day-to-day use. We know this thing is very capable for off-road. You can probably watch videos from Land Rover, the company itself, that has posted online. But I want to see how it handles on the road in terms of visibility. How good is the turning radius? How comfortable it is? I'm assuming it will be comfortable because it has an air suspension system. We'll have it in comfort mode and so on. And how well does it drive? Is it fast? It makes tons of horsepower, almost 400. If you haven't subscribed by now, please do so. And at the same time, if you want to take this for a test drive, the link to their website will be in the description box. So if you can reach to them on Instagram, my good friend Mark, who is the gentleman that has actually introduced me to the dealership and allowed me to review this vehicle, his email will be in the description box as well, if you want to be one of the first one, because this thing right now, it's pretty hot. Now, let's stop talking. Let's go for a test drive. Okay, let's go for a drive. I'm excited. First of all, I've set my seat perfectly. This thing has power seats on both sides and of course the steering wheel. Let's start it up. Perfect. It's adjusted based on the memory setting. You can set your memory seat. Of course, you have 3 options in there if you are 3 drivers in one house. That's the option. I like it a bit further from me. Perfect. Extended all the way through. AC is set on. I'm gonna put the ventilated seats on because it's a bit warm today. Perfectly done. I'm gonna have the navigation system on, and let's see, perfect. Here we go into the navigation system. Now, I brought in my dB meter, and the reason I did it is because a lot of cars like the Toyota 4Runner or the Jeep Wrangler, I find them to be extremely noisy inside with the tire setup that they usually have when they come from the manufacturer. I want to see how different this thing is in dB matter. I usually used to get for the Wrangler about 64 dB, 63, 62 for the Toyota 4Runner. I've tested out before, somewhere within that range. I want to see how different this thing is louder or not. And I also have my alcohol-free beer inside here in the fridge, so that it's free alcohol, free alcohol beer. It's nicely and cooled. Beautiful screen in the center here that gives you the bird's eye view for on-road, and then you can change the setting for off-road as well. Steering wheel light, very light, easy to maneuver. Right away I feel this car is quiet inside. I probably don't have to do the meter thing at all. I'm gonna take it on highway and see how it does at 100 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit. Power. Nice, nice, nice. Comfort level. I have it in comfort mode. Of course, you can change the driving modes as you are driving. That's the beautiful thing about this. And then you can put like gravel and it becomes a bit stiffer and so on. I have it in comfort mode right now, and I want to keep it that way and see how it does. It's quite comfortable inside. How do I feel in terms of the seat position? Tons of space in here. The height feels a bit high. If you ever been inside a Ford F-150, I think it feels at the same level. You still have good visibility. The rear window on this thing is huge. The only thing that bothers a bit, it's the tire, but it's designed in a way that you can still see. On top of that, don't care about this. Just turn this thing here, you can see people picking their noses. Like, this thing, it's amazing, so clear, like, it's insane. I've used it before in other models. Like, I can see the car behind. My wife and I, one week, were driving the Evoque, and I turned it on. You can actually see people fighting with each other. You can see people like picking their noses and all that. It's the most insane thing. Very clear, absolutely love it. And off-road, this thing will give you extra visibility. In terms of visibility, this area, the windows on both front and rear are huge. You're getting so much visibility in this side and the rear side. Perfect car in terms of overall visibility. Now, the driving thing, going over this crack roads a bit. We're doing 60 kilometers, the speed limit right now in this road. I feel this is doing a fantastic job in avoiding this roughness on certain areas. The air suspension system is glorious in most cars. This week I have a Maserati Quattroporte, and that thing feels smooth as butter. Absolutely love it. Brakes. This thing has big brake kit in the front. It has a signal piston in the front, so it should be really good in terms of braking. You got to make sure to keep this car nice on the roads, and brakes are as important as the engine. Horsepower needs braking. That's what it needs. Absolutely love the first experience with this thing. I've been waiting to review this car for a while. Okay, we're entering the highway. Let's see how this thing does. Oh, glorious, glorious. It's good. It feels really good. I mean, for the size of this thing, feels really good. The mirrors on this, both sides, are huge, massive. You also get auto dimming mirrors on this, and you get, of course, blind spot assist as well. Just massive mirrors. It feels like a pickup truck. Now, let's turn on this bad boy. We're at a bit of a traffic, and let's see how good this thing will be. Now, the air control here, the climate control, is actually at the bottom. The only thing I have, it's the actual seats. Right now it's in cool, but the fan itself, the fan speed, it's pretty much all the way at the bottom. And people are looking at this. Okay. So, I have the results, and I have 62.3 doing 100 kilometers an hour. Now, with a bit of traffic on my left side, what I did find was 64 to 65 dB. There is a very good number. 62.3 feels extremely quiet, in my opinion, inside. Even at high speed, 100 kilometers, and today is a bit windy. So technically, this thing should be higher because of that wind. There's a bit of a wind coming this way on my side, and again, in my opinion, compared to other vehicles, this thing is so much better. It feels so good. It drives amazing. I'm actually impressed by Land Rover. They have done a fantastic job with this car. We're going to a sharp corner right now. There we go. Perfect. The vehicle is still stable. Great job. Nothing is sliding. Doesn't feel like there's a body roll in this car. And we're entering the highway. Speed up a little bit. Push it. That sound from the engine is glorious. Absolutely glorious. As you can see, I'm super excited about this car. I absolutely love it. There's so much technology in this car. Even with this package, which is not even the fully loaded, in my opinion, is quite impressive. The beautiful thing is that Land Rover has done so much testing in this vehicle before it even launched it. They have taken this thing in Africa, they've taken it in sand, they've taken it completely off-road in some nasty areas, and this thing has managed. This vehicle being able to go so deep in the water and not affecting anything inside is next level, in my opinion. Other cars like the Jeep Wrangler, very capable off-road, but nothing like this
nothing beats this. You got amazing towing capacity, amazing ride quality, tons of technology, beautiful interior, mix of luxury and sportiness and some off-road style. The things that are in this vehicle are functional, not just design. Because design sometimes can be not functional. You can design something in the car, but there's no purpose to it. Everything in here has a purpose, whether it's the side grab handle, whether it's the fridge in the center here into the compartment, the cooling area part. Everything works in this vehicle as it should. The buttons are responsive. The navigation system is fantastic. One thing I didn't like with Range Rovers before is that their cameras used to have a bit of a problem. They had a bit of a slow down when you reversed. Apparently they have fixed that in this car specifically. In my opinion, this vehicle is impressive overall. You can also get a medium electric model. So it's not necessarily a plug-in hybrid, but it's called MHEV. If you want a bit of a electric charging in the vehicle, a bit of a mix of a hybrid style, you have that option. And that's the other great thing about this vehicle. It offers small engine, big engine, and of course you get that third choice as well. I absolutely love this thing, and I feel like I want to buy one because it's just so good. It's the type of vehicle that you're not scared to take off-road, in my opinion. This is the beautiful thing about this car. You're not scared to take this off-road at all. I love this thing. As you can see, I am impressed. I think Land Rover has done something fantastic. It has power, it has comfort, it has everything you need in this vehicle. It's so hot right now that at the dealership that I'm reviewing this car, there's people coming in and checking out every day. And it was so hard for me to be able to get my hands on this thing because there's so many people interested in this. As I was reviewing it, actually a customer came in to actually test drive it, and they took it in to sanitize it and everything, and then before they gave it to the customer. So just the interest in this car is amazing. I want to say special thanks to our good friends at Budds JLR. They're located in Oakville, Ontario. If you want to go through them, if you want to go straight to one of the sales guys, not have to worry about the actually any emails or phone calls, they will reach out to you. Click the link in the description below. You'll get straight to the right person to talk to if you want to take this for a test drive. But that was it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Mark for helping out with this. Appreciate his help, and everybody at Budds JLR for helping out and getting this nice and clean. They had it ready for me, my own pod and so on. Very excited. That was it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Please be safe and take care. Cheers.